To get started, I mixed red and yellow, more red than yellow, to create the color that I'm going to need for the fox. I'm using a 12 by 16 canvas panel. It is white. I'm going to leave it white so that you can see it, but I've decided that I want the fox to cover this whole area. So let's say that the fox head is going to be right around here. The tail, well, the legs, let's look at the legs. The legs will be right around here, and the tail is about the same distance, so it's going to be right around here. And I'm going to go ahead and begin by identifying where the body's going to be. And since the body's going to be around here, the legs are going to be around here, I'm going to go ahead and start with a rectangle. Start creating a rectangle to get started here. I've created a circle about half the size or slightly smaller than the rectangle that I did below. That will be part of the head of the fox, and of course the legs of the fox in the bottom. Now I think I'll make the circle a little bigger because I do want the fox to be large. So I'm going to go ahead and make the circle larger. And you can use a filbert brush or a flat brush to do this. I'm using a filbert for the circle. Now notice that the circle goes into the rectangle so that the bottom of the circle sinks into that rectangle. Now I'm enlarging the rectangle. When I'm painting an animal or an object, I try not to think of the object, but I think of it as in parts. For here I'm thinking of the head as a circle, the front of the fox as a rectangle. And I will proceed to do the whole fox using this technique. Now I'm going to do the body. So I'm trying to figure out, it has to go right around there. Alright, start there, touching the circle, and now I'm creating, thinking of it as almost like half an egg to create the body of the fox. And of course at this point, if you notice, it looks nothing like a fox. And that's the way it's supposed to be. As I do the body, I try to go from the top to the bottom at an angle. Continue to use the same color. To create this color, I use red and yellow. More red than yellow. I'm going to go ahead and fill this half of the egg. And then I'm going to reshape it by sliding down with a brush. Again, here you can use a flat brush or a filbert brush. Alright, I'm looking at the legs of the fox now, so what I'll be doing is a triangle. Upside down triangle. Fill it in. And now I'll just add like a little stick here, a little even smaller triangle to create the end of the leg. Now I'm looking to where I'm going to put that tail, at least following that marker that I put on the right, and create the tail of the fox. And I'm doing that by creating like a smiling face. So I create a little smile there. And to do the bottom of the tail, I'll create another smile. And then expanding the bottom to the opposite direction to create the end of the tail. Notice that I take my time, and that's what I recommend you do also. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill in these two smiles. The top smile and the bottom smile, and paint in between the two smiles. And I look at it and it still does not look as a fox. The most important thing that you remember is that you do not get discouraged. Just keep creating the shapes, and before you know it, you will have that animal that you're trying to create. Alright, I'm starting to do the ears. A fox has large ears. This one is going to stand out a bit. Notice it's like an upside down U with a little point. Could be a V. And speaking of V, I think I'll make this a tiny V. This is a tiny ear. It's starting to look like a cat. Carry on. Now what I'm going to do is start to shape that circle, so it will no longer be a circle. It'll start to take different shapes. Do the same on this side. Let it extend out so it no longer looks like a circle. Now I want to take that rectangle and start working it so that now it starts taking slightly different, I guess that would be the shoulders, creating the shoulders of this fox. A pretty strong, healthy fox. And I'm going to give some curve here. And again, it'd be a good idea to use a filbert brush. I may have made that rectangle a little too long, but I can always fix that later. I'm going to let the end of the end near the tail take a little shape there. And expand the leg, make it thicker, thick thighs, and somewhere around here I gotta be thinking of that fourth leg. It's gonna be hiding back there somewhere. So let me just put something here to remind me. Notice how the fox is already taken up most of the canvas, the white canvas. I left the white in the canvas white. I did not touch it so that you can see clearly how I create these shapes. I'm adding black now in those areas where I think that the fox will have some dark colors. Usually the front is very has a dark area, and there'll be a lot of white over this. But I want to darken this now. So go ahead and follow what I'm doing. Notice that I put this here right under that circle, where the circle would be. I put the black. Add some of this black on the side here to start shaping the face. This is for the collar. And start separating the back here, start shaping that area so that the fox won't turn out to be flat. Okay, start darkening the areas that need to be darkened. Put black into two smiles. Create a little smile back here and put black there. You'll see why in a little bit. And now I start adding some color to the fox. We don't want our fox to remain orangey. We want to add some more colors to the fox. Add black wherever I'm adding it, just the same amount that I am. Try not to do more than what I have. Now I'm starting to add white where I believe the fox will have the furry area that will be white. It's almost like adding a beard to the fox. I'm tapping the color. Now I'm adding white where the nose is going to be. Notice that I have not done the eyes or the nose yet, but this is the beginning. Tap in the small brush. Use a small brush to tap in. It could be a flat brush, but just use the tip to tap to create the furry white. Just keep tapping. Do not tap too hard when you start tapping in the black area, because you do want some of that black to show. You do not want to cover the black. When you get into the black, tap, tap, tap slowly, softly. Make sure you're leaving some of that black showing. Tap, keep tapping. And let's add some fur in the back of the tail, because they do have fur in the back of the white fur. Add some of that white fur. Tap, 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 tap. Keep tapping. If you notice, I'm doing the large areas first, and then I start going to the smaller areas. The white fur covers a lot of area on this fox. Now I'm going to add some light by using the white on the top of the fox. It's got white fur back here, so let's add some white fur. Now it's going to be hard for the white to stand out because we have a white canvas on a white tail. But what I'll be doing later on is add green, at least a little bit of green in the background so that you can see how the white will stand out at that point. So I'll be adding some green toward the bottom of the fox. I'm adding a little bit of white on the ears, which again you probably won't be able to see. But I'm adding a little bit of white toward the bottom of the ear here. And just very softly, I'm going to clean the brush. Just tap slightly so that it comes out a very, very transparent white on the top. I'm like creating the eyelashes, but they're not. I'm adding like little lines here with a liner, just that little lines. Could use an angle brush or a liner, just to give the impression that there's hair there. Fluffy hair. And probably when I get to this I can then go and do the details, but we'll see. Let me just go focus on this here. And I'm adding little lines. Tiny lines, make it look like hair. I'm just adding an almost reddish, still orangey but more red than yellow here, to create the sockets on where I'm going to put the eyes. So it almost looks like a little mask. Now to create the nose, add black on the sides of that white that I added originally to be part of the nose. And then curve it at the bottom. It's almost like a light bulb. Okay, I'm adding some white underneath of the nose. Now when you do the eyes, remember that the eyes of the fox are not circular. They're not circular, so they're going to be as they expand. So make sure you make the eyes kind of long. Now don't put the eyes too close. Leave some space, and the nose should separate that. There we go. And remember, not a circular, although you can start with a circle, but you do have to expand. That's what I'm doing here. Alright, now he's starting to look like a fox. Alright, let's create a little chin here. Give him a little neck. A shadow in the bottom. Little black up there on the right ear. Always take your time on the details. And a little black down here. And start curving that stomach a little bit. And keep it dark. What I'm doing now is tapping a little more white on the face, creating more fur in the face of the fox. I'll do that on the left, and I think I'll add a little more on the right also. I think I'll expand the nose a little more here. They do have big noses. I'm expanding it with white. Okay, I'm looking at it now to make sure that I'm satisfied with it. There's still some minor things that I will work on. But let me just go ahead and add a couple of darker colors around here, a little brown, so that it doesn't turn out too orangey. Give it some other colors. I'm using brown, kind of a light brown. Put it in different parts of the body. And I did put a little on top of the head. Notice how I'm doing it in an angle fashion. Add a little brown over here also, the bottom here. And it's up to you how much brown you want to add to the body of this fox in order to get the proper color. Now, as I've indicated many times before, that even though sometimes we think that we might say, oh, a fox is kind of orangey, or whatever color a tree is green, there's always more than one color that is used when you're painting. And in real life, that's the way it is. There's always more than one color. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a dark green so that you can see the furry tail of the fox and the other areas where there's white. Just to give you an idea, since I did not create a background in this instance. To say in Spanish, hasta la próxima. Until next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, I'm finished with the fox.